Hey guys, it's Russell here. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. There's tons of videos on stock alert services reviewed, courses that I've reviewed, option services that I've reviewed, and I've also started doing a lot more tips and tricks for trading that I use every day in the markets. So make sure you subscribe. And today I'm going to give you a very basic strategy that I've been using in this nasty market with some decent success. So it's a swing trading strategy. It's basically trading channels, which is something that you learn early on in your trading career. It's very simple, but it's very effective, and I've been just chilling out making money every day with this swing trading strategy since the market started to get really volatile. So I found that a lot of the day trading stuff I was doing and the overnight swings weren't working out very well. They were just not following through on the breakouts on these lower cost stocks. So I've started actually trading on a longer time frame, holding things for weeks rather than just overnight, and looking at higher cap stocks as well. So if you're interested in learning a very simple, easy to implement strategy, keep watching and I'll go through this simple strategy for swing trading stocks. So let's get started. All you need to do is have access to finviz.com. I'll put a link in the description below to get you to finviz.com. And from there, you can use their scanning features. You don't need Finviz Elite for this, I'm a member, but you can use the simple technical stuff here, which you just pull down. So if you look on this menu here, I've gone to technical and then I've searched for channel. You can do all sorts of things like ascending triangles, wedges, horizontal, major news. You can do all sorts of stuff, overbought, oversold. Everybody has a different strategy, right? This is one that I've been using over the last few months that has netted me quite a few $100s per trade. Some of it's unrealized, some of it's realized. But it's just so laid back. I've just been like checking these once a day. I'd forgotten how fun swing trading actually is. And for you guys that have been following me on my free newsletter, which I will put a link to in the description below, I'm going to give you a demonstration of one of the trades that I put out as a recommendation a few weeks ago and show you how that's doing and kind of go through the thought process on that. So, anyway, the strategy is really simple. You go to channel just here. I've not looked at channel up or channel down particularly, but if we go to channel up here, you'll actually get the upwards trend in channels. So, how cool is this and how easy, right? All they do is they look for a stock and they draw lines for the upwards channels. So STC here, just join the line between the highs, join the line between the lows, and just don't buy mid-channel, right? So here, you'd be looking for it to retrace back down. So you could either go short here and get the retrace down, but there's always the chance that it will break out, right? So you got to be careful. Channels are great until they're not, right? Until they break. So look at this one over here. This one had moved up into above the top trend line, above the highs, and it broke out. So you'd be kind of annoyed if you just let this ride with a short position, thinking that it was going to retrace into the channel. So not everything works all the time, but these upwards trending channels on the higher cap stocks have a really high chance of working. And the trick is just to use the support and resistance, simple lines that you draw in, that connect the lows to use as very well defined risk reward lines, right? So most people fail in trading because they are not disciplined enough and they don't follow a stop loss. That's one of the main reasons that people lose money. The nice thing about this really simple strategy is that you can use these lines as a proper stop loss, right? And also a price target. So, for example, here, you've got to give it a little leeway, but this thing had bounced up and down, upwards trending channel, and it started to break this line here. So you don't want to keep too tight a stop, right? You don't want to say that this is absolutely the line in the sand. You want to give it a little bit below. And these are daily charts, so you can do this obviously on the intraday as well, but these charts are daily. You want to look at the clothes, so you don't want to intraday if it just breaks your bottom line here. You don't want to use that as too tight, right? You want to give it a little bit of leeway, but you also don't want to let it run all the way down, below this line. So that's kind of the trick. So the simple strategy is find charts like this using the setting that I showed you, join the lines, and then try and buy at the bottom trend line, right? So be patient, try and get the best possible price, and set your stop loss maybe 5% below the bottom trend line. So I will give you an example in the next screen that I show you, but let me just go down. See how many of these things there are? So you can basically just look down and look how reliable these charts are, you know, bounce a couple of times. You got to be careful. There's a lot. This is what keeps happening to me. There'll be a lot of bounces off the bottom trend line and then like a fake out, back along, hold up, and then it starts to go up again. So it's going to be noisy. It's going to be a bumpy ride. The trick is just to check it once a day, make sure that nothing drastic's happened, and just let the trend work itself out. Like they say, the trend is your friend. So you want to make sure that you don't get shook out too much by these things, and it's easy to do. And there was a guy I was talking to who was in the example trade with me, the one that I'm about to show you, who did start to get a little bit timid about it, and it's starting to work out really well now. So I kind of reassured him that the rules are still there. It hasn't broken any of the trend lines. Everything's good. Just hold on. So hopefully it'll continue to work out. But before I show you that, let me just keep looking down here. You see how many of these things are? I mean, this is as simple as it gets, right? It's just drawing two straight lines and being patient, making sure that you follow your rules, that if you don't see a change in the pattern, you don't sell. So, to be honest, I've mainly been buying long, so I haven't really been trying to buy at resistance and then look for, a retracement. And from what I'm seeing in these charts, the ones that are failing, I haven't seen any that have actually broken the bottom trend line. The ones that are failing in terms of if you were to go short here have actually been breaking out, which in this market is quite good, quite surprising, but good. Yet to come across one of these charts though that have started to break the bottom trend line. So you can kind of see it's a very low risk strategy. So there's one that's maybe starting to dip, but you can see this one has a history. So that's the basic idea. You basically set it to channel up, and you can look at other ones. I mean, there's so many different ones here, but channel uptrend and channels are my favorite. They've been shown statistically to be one of the most reliable patterns that you can use, so that's pretty much why I use it. You can also basically narrow it down too, so you can add in things like add in extra things. So maybe you want the RSI to be oversold 40. So let's do that. So then it narrows it down to that. So you can see, okay, there's only one here, but like it's right at the bottom of its channel. And there's a good chance that this thing, if it starts to show some strength, that it'll start to go back up and possibly go up to the high 20s again. So that's how you determine your end price is the top of the channel, and the bottom price is the bottom of the channel, and you don't want to let this break down too much below here. It's a fine balance though. So there's all these different ones. You can set let's see the change here. So maybe you do up 10%. Let's see what that looks like. So there's nothing, of course, because I've got oversold on there. Let's have a look. Still nothing. So you can play around with this and experiment and do paper trading and backtest and see, but it's a very simple, easy strategy. It's really chilled out. Let me show you an example that I was talking about from recent days. So this was EVR, and I sent this out to my free newsletter as a recommendation that I was buying. And you can see that I bought in around 133 here at the bottom of this channel, and it's continued up, and it actually hit 147, and I was up $300 or $400 in my small position. It's pulled back to the bottom of the channel, so I'm hoping that this will continue. Otherwise, I should have probably taken some profits when I was 12% up or something. But the hope is here that it will make its way all the way up to 150, 160 or above at the top of the channel. So I'm trying to be patient and hold that. But so far, it's been a winning trade. Here is my brokerage account showing that. So I was in at 133. I've got a small position of just 30 shares. It's a large cap stock, up $200 as of the close on Friday. But you can see it did hit 147 here, which should put me at $300 to $400 profit, just holding overnight. They also have a dividend, which is cool. I timed my entry based on the channel, but also based on the TTM squeeze here. So I bought in around 133 here, just as we were starting to squeeze into the blue bars here. And you should learn a bit more about that if you don't know what the TTM squeeze is. The more indicators that you have that a chart's ready to go, the better, right? So that is a simple overview of one of the easiest swing trading strategies that I'm having a really good success rate with in this market. I hope that you like this, and make sure you subscribe to get more videos like this. All right, thanks for listening, guys.